Welcome to the Module 1 pre-learning video for business studies. This video will cover the nature and classification of a business. A business refers to an organized group effort to produce and sell products and services that consumers want or need. Now, the main aim of a business is profit, and this occurs when businesses meet the consumer's needs and demands whilst keeping their expenses at a minimum. Consumers refer to anyone who purchases and or uses the product and services that a business provides. A product is a tangible good, whereas a service is an intangible good. A product and service is either bought by a consumer or sold by a business. Therefore, it can be stated that products and finished products bind the business and consumer together because a business provides a product and the consumers purchase this product. Therefore, it can be deduced that the role of a business is to produce goods and or services that satisfy consumer needs and or wants whilst making a profit. Now, the key functions of a business are listed on your screen. I'll go through them now with you. So, profit. So, the main activity of a business is to sell products to its customers. A business receives money known as sales revenue from its customers in exchange for products. In other words, a business provides a product. The consumer purchases this product for a price. The price is a cost to the consumer and is given to the business. This is known as revenue for the business. However, the business also has expenses that they must pay for, including rent, electricity, delivery costs, and things like that. Therefore, in order for a business to make a profit, its sales revenue that it makes from consumers purchasing their products must be higher than its operating expenses, and this will make a profit for the business. Now let's consider employment. So employment is extremely important for businesses and consumers. So to be able to purchase products, consumers need money. They usually earn that money by working at jobs provided by businesses. The number of employees hired by a business, however, at any time, will depend on the nature of its products and the number of customers who wish to purchase the products. Generally, the more that is sold, the more employees a business will hire. In other words, if you consider a business such as Myer and it's Christmas time, they are going to obviously hire a lot more employees because they know that a lot more products will be sold and there will be a lot more consumer demand for that. Now let's consider incomes. So another important function of a business is to provide income. For an individual, income is the amount of money received for providing his or her labor. Therefore, a business must provide an income for its workers and must pay them. This is either done through a wage or salary. So wage refers to money received by workers, usually on a weekly basis, for services that they provide to an employer of a business. A salary refers to a fixed amount of money paid on a regular basis, usually fortnightly or monthly. Now let's consider choice. Now this just refers to being able to have consumers having a choice of what products are available to them, and this occurs by businesses producing a lot more products and giving a lot more choice for the consumer to make, which would make a consumer want to purchase at that business because there is a lot more diversity of products which they can choose from. Now, innovation refers to creating a new product, service, or process, or significantly improving an existing one. If a business undertakes innovation, it is more likely to keep up with the needs of current consumers, therefore increasing its sales. Now let's consider entrepreneurship and risk. So this refers to businesses taking risk in order to make profit. So in other words, they are risking a lot, but the end goal is to make a lot of money and a lot of product, though there is a lot of risk in this. Wealth. Now let's consider wealth. So the more that is produced, the more wealth is generated within the Australian economy. The thousands of individual businesses operating every day act as an engine room of society, helping drive the economy forward to achieve greater levels of economic growth and wealth. Quality of life, this just refers to the general quality of life that society wants to live in. So a business needs to consider this when they really decide what products they're making, how they're making it, if it's environmentally friendly, and things like that. Now let's consider the ways to classify a business. Now, business can be classified by its size, geographical spread, industry sector, and legal sector. Let's consider classifying a business by size. Now, you've got 4 different types of businesses. You have a micro business, which is less than 5 staff. You have a small business, which is less than 20 staff. You have a medium business, which is 20 to 199 staff, and a large business, which is 200 plus staff. So a small business, the type of ownership for a small business is that it's independently owned, it's operated by usually 1 or 2 people, and it's usually a sole trader or a partnership, and the owner is responsible for decisions. A medium business, the business is usually owned and operated by a few people and or private shareholders, which we'll look up in later videos, and the typical legal structure is partnership and private company, and the owner is responsible for most decisions. If you consider a large business, this has 200 plus staff, so it is usually owned by thousands of public shareholders, and it's usually a public company, and yeah, it has a large market share. Now let's consider classifying a business by geographical spread. This is a quite simple one, so you can either classify a business if it's a local, national, or global business. So a local business is just a service to the community, so it might be just one individual shop. A national business operates on a national level for a particular country. It only operates in one country. A global business is multinational corporations, so MNCs, and they really look at having branches in all different countries and providing on a global scale. Now let's consider classifying a business by industry sector. So the industry sector refers to the type of business activity. So the industry sectors, you've got the primary sector, the secondary sector, and the tertiary sector. So the primary sector is businesses that are involved in the collection of natural resources, for example, mining. Secondary sector is taking a raw material and turning it into a finished or semi-finished product, for example, car manufacturers. The tertiary sector is performing a service for other people, for example, banks. So in the tertiary sector, you've got the quaternary sector and the quinary sector. The quaternary sector is businesses that are involved in the transfer and processing of knowledge. So this includes educational institutions such as schools and universities. The quinary sector is services that are traditionally performed in the home, such as childcare. Finally, let's consider classifying a business by its legal structures. So there are a number of different legal structures to choose from when deciding how a business is to be owned and operated. The 4 main legal structures are shown in the image to the right. So they include sole trader, partnership, private company, and public company. So a sole trader means that one person owns the business and it is unincorporated. A partnership is when 2 to 20 people have combined their income or finances to go into business to share the workload and finance. This also is unincorporated. A private company is where people organize their business as a company, and the difference between private company and a public company is that a public company is where the shares are sold on the Australian Stock Exchange and people can buy and sell their shares publicly. Now let's just decipher quickly the unincorporated and incorporated businesses. So unincorporated businesses means that the business and the owners are the same. So if the owner can no longer pay its debts and it's bankrupt, then they must sell their personal assets to pay for these debts. Also, the income that would have been earned gets added to the owner's personal finance for taxation purposes. This means that if you have an unincorporated business, you are paying more tax because the two incomes from the business and the individual person's income is added together, which means that you go into a higher tax bracket. Contrastingly, an incorporated business means that the business is separated from its owners, and this is a company. So, this means that if the business is bankrupt, then the shareholders don't lose any money except for what they paid for their shares. And tax is paid separately for the business and owners and shareholders. They pay their own tax. So the business pays its tax, that the actual business, the company, pays its tax, and each individual pays their own tax separately from the business. The tax paid by a company is approximately 29% of the income of that company as of 2015.